What's going on YouTube? Kieran here with a new type of video for the channel today. Record some tabletop games of me playing against my friend Jackson Ford, another great Canadian player. So it's my first time doing these, so let me know if you guys enjoy it. If you like the voiceover after commentary I'm doing right now, or maybe in the future you want to just hear what Jackson and I discuss at the table while we test. So we're going to test the Tera Box matchup versus Dragapult. I think these are projected to be the two most popular decks in the format, in our post-rotation format with Journey Together. So I'm going to be on the right there with my Raptors mat playing the Dragapult, and Jackson's going to be on the left playing the Tera Box deck. I'll put the links into the deck list in the description. So we didn't own a 151 Ditto, so we proxied it with a Pidgey. So I've done a very poor job in editing of putting a Ditto overlay. So you guys will have to excuse us for that. And then yeah, we just had Jackson flash the prizes there. So when we test, we don't bother prize checking like normally. We just look at our prizes, one so we can show you guys, but mainly just so we save time. If you're still trying to learn how to prize check, like in practice, I recommend doing it. I just feel like Jackson and I pretty much we know how to prize check, so we'd rather just save the time, get more games in, and get more practice. So Jackson's gonna just get the Wellspring here with the Ditto. He's going to use the Night Stretcher to get the Lightning because he anticipates a Badoo. And now he's just ready for a turn 2 Torrential Pump. So on my end, I was pretty happy to see Jackson kind of whiff multiple Hoot Hoots. So he's going to be a lot more susceptible to my Itchy Pollen, and the setup later in the game will be more difficult for him. So when I looked at my prizes, I think I had like a Dusclops and EXP share in there. Otherwise, nothing too crazy. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go for the turn 1 Itchy Pollen. It's definitely the strongest play. I want to disrupt my opponent, not let them play Ultra Ball, Nest Ball, because in this matchup, like the Tera Box normally gets ahead, and you want to play like Unfair Stamp and eventually just make a big comeback. So by using Itchy Pollen early, you kind of block your opponent from playing stuff like Nest Ball to get like Fez down, get Mew down, the Latios. And here, like you normally want to play Arven turn 1, get that rescue board, get some Buddy Poffins, but unfortunately I whiffed it. So I had to use my switch in an Iono. And here you're seeing me debating and tap an energy to a Dreepy, but I know that I'm most likely getting Torrential Pump next turn. So if I commit an energy to one of my Dreepies, Jackson's just going to knock out that one. So I think I decided against it. I just go for the Itchy Pollen, and I actually gave Jackson a pretty good hand off of this. He got double Hoot Hoot, and he got a Noctowl. So he's going to be able to go for that turn 2 Torrential Pump, which is pretty much what the Tera Box deck wants to go for. Take 2 prizes, put a lot of pressure on my board, and then getting those double Hoot Hoots down will give him some firepower for later in the game to continue the strategy. So if I play something like an Unfair Stamp or an Iono, one Noctowl just turns into a Crispin, which like lets off another Torrential Pump. So pretty good start for Jackson. The only thing that can make it better is if he could have got some of his support Pokemon down with maybe like a Mew, like a Latios to give him a little bit more maneuverability. Especially the Mew would be nice because Unfair Stamp is most likely coming for him next turn. He didn't see me play Arven turn 1. So the odds I drew in off Iono are a little bit higher because it probably wasn't in my turn 1 hand because I probably would have played it. So here Jackson decided to save the water energy. I don't really know if it matters which ones he saves. Maybe actually keeping water in the hand is better because if you get Iono, you'd rather draw grass if you draw, TLS for example. So yeah, so now on my end, I got the Fez there. So I'm really just looking to get Unfair Stamp. So pretty much just drawing an Arven, which I get, which is perfect because now I can get the rescue board and then I can get the Badoo. And this way I can do Itchy Pollen with an Unfair Stamp. That way Jackson doesn't draw another Crispin. He can't use Torrential Pump. If I'm able to combo this with a Counter Catcher, I can pretty much stop Torrential Pump unless he draws perfect cards. So pretty good hand I have here. I'm going to commit an energy now because I'm going to try and use Dragapult eventually. If he gets Torrential Pump next turn, I'm in a bad spot regardless. So. And I'm going to use my Nest Ball for that Badoo because that's probably the most important card. So I debated playing the Ultra Ball, but I had a little too many resources, didn't want to give those up. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the Stamp there and just sped up the shuffling a little there so we don't have to watch that. So the Counter Catcher is a great draw for me. I didn't really draw more Dreepies. A Buddy Poffin would have been a great draw there in that hand. The GP there is fine. I decided to take instead of Artisan because I don't want to give Jackson more outs to getting more Hoot Hoots because eventually I want to wipe his board of Hoot Hoot. So here I'm debating if I should bring up the Hoot Hoot or the Noctowl. The reason I was hesitating a little bit is because I bring up Noctowl and he draws Turo, then he gets another Noctowl back and gets out of the active. If I bring up Hoot Hoot, then Latios isn't out. So they're both cards he only plays one copy of. So it's equal chances. I just decided to go with the Noctowl. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal regardless. Thinking about it more now, maybe I should have gone for the Hoot Hoot, but either way, Jackson draws and passes, which is exactly what I need. So that tells me a lot, right? So it tells me Jackson doesn't have an energy in his hand. Otherwise, he would have just done retreat and done sob. It tells me he doesn't have a Noctowl, he doesn't have a supporter. So I am assuming his hand is just a bunch of items, pretty much. So here I'm debating between the Arven and the energy. I think I take the Arven because I want to have the option to get something like a Buddy Buddy Poffin and start like growing my board. Get a Duskull down if I can. There's a Dusknoir, I just hit off the Recon Directive. So my plan is going to be to use either Dusclops or Dusknoir. I guess Dusknoir because Dusclops is prized, to take out a Hoot Hoot and probably counter catcher the other one if I can. And take that option off of his board completely. And then the Tera Box deck really struggles without Noctowl because they don't play a lot of draw. They play maybe 2 research, they play like Fez and Mew, but that's not enough to pull together these huge combos with like those 1-of, 2-of cards, right? So that's the game plan I'm kind of going for here, and I think this is the main line that you're going to see a lot in this matchup. Okay, I just threw my Defiance Fan the discard by accident. That should not be there. I don't think it's going to matter this game though. So Jackson draws the Mew, which is pretty good. He can probably just bench that now if he wants. Draw cards in case he gets Iono. I guess he just holds it. Maybe holding out for, I don't know what card he'd be holding out for, but not a big deal. So here, if I want, I have the option to attack, and I think I can go Rare Candy Dusknoir and then counter catcher Hoot Hoot. I think I'm a little scared if Jackson's able to pull off a Clefairy, I would lose because my EXP share is in the prize. If I had EXP share, I definitely would attack this turn, just put EXP share on one of my Benchster Cloaks. I also have Crispin in my hand, so I guess if I didn't play this Jacques, which I think I kind of had to. I'll have to see my hand again. I could have Crispin because I don't want to Crispin next turn if I get Clefairy because then I can't play Iono. So I think I'm just taking it a little bit slow. So there's that candy. I can't tell if I had another Dragapult or not, but yeah, I don't need to attack right now. But every turn, like I Itchy Paw, I'm giving Jax like another turn to draw like an energy or something. But even a Crispin wouldn't really let Jackson transfer pump, so I'm not too worried. The worst thing that could come is a Sob. So I spread my energies just in case one of them gets knocked out. Honestly, I probably should have put on the same guy because, like I'm just saying, like it's kind of hard for Jackson to torrential pump. So I shouldn't be too worried, but I think I have like an Earthen Vessel in my hand if I want to attack. So Jackson top decks an energy finally. So I know that was his top deck for turn, so I can still assume the rest of the cards in his hand are useless. But the Sob is going to be really annoying because I already used my switch and I don't play Turo. I'm just using the Champions League top 16 list from Fukuoka. So this Badoo is stuck for the turn. One other card that would be really good if Jackson has is if he can boss my Fez. I can't get it out of the active either. So I'd have to start powering up the whatever Fez's attack is called. So yeah, definitely the right line for Jackson. Like taking out this Badoo is going to guarantee him a prize. And then if he goes to 3 prizes, me popping a Dusknoir is a little bit sketchy because then I'm going to let him go down to 2. So then Clefairy can win the game. So I'm going to have to kind of adjust my plans here of how I'm going to win this one. I think the 2 cards you just see me pick off the Recon Directive are going to help shape that. So I got Rare Candy Dusknoir. So if I want to pop my Dusknoir this turn, I can definitely do another one next turn on the following turn. So I think I want to take out both Hoot Hoots and then Iono Jackson to 1 if possible. And then just hope he bricks, because if he bricks off that Iono, I should be able to pretty easily win. So I'm going to probably look to use the Dusknoir on the Hoot Hoots this turn, bench another Duskull, and then Rare Candy Dusknoir again on the following turn. So if my Badoo goes down to Sob on the next turn, then I can just Jackson will be at 2 prizes. I do Dusknoir again, knock out his other Hoot Hoot. He'll go down to 1 prize, and my Iono's going to stick him to 1 card. So yeah, my hand is massive too. I pretty much have any card I could need at this point. I think I'm going to use Crispin as my supporter this turn. Just get an energy out of my deck to guarantee it. The attach next turn, because that's the only thing I'm missing. And I don't really need anything else. I'm kind of like locked into doing Badoo this turn because of Sob. So definitely going to get a couple energies here. There's maybe an argument for like getting 1 and like not attaching the other one just in case my Fez gets bossed, just so I have the option to use, I think it's called Cruel Arrow, but I'm just going to attach one to your cloak. So that's just something to think about. And then now on my next turn, I'm ready for like this huge combo that I've kind of been building towards. So Jackson's only had 1 turn of items the whole game, his first turn pretty much. Then he'll get 1 more turn on the following one when I finally take out the Badoo lock. So this is the power of Itchy Pollen and Unfair Stamp. Just one of the strongest combos I think in the game right now. So Jackson knows that I'm probably going to go for my big combo next turn, so he's going to start benching all this stuff. Promise the next game the camera angle's better, so this Teal Mask couldn't get cut off the screen. But yeah, Jackson gets the Mew down just so if I Iono him, he has some more draw. He would have loved to get another Hoot Hoot if he can, because then that way if I counter catcher the Hoot Hoot, then the Mew survives, and then vice versa. If I get Mew, Hoot Hoot survives. So here, I'm going to use the one recon with the Dragapult I'm about to evolve, because I'm not going to get value. And then I think I have that counter catcher, I have the Dragapult, I have the Iono ready, the Rare Candy Dusknoir, so the counter catcher is definitely going to go on the Mew, because basically I just need to survive this turn. I need Jackson to not draw either Crispin or the Clefairy. So there could be an argument as well, if possible, to evolve all my Dracloaks up to Dragapults, because that way Crispin's not an out for Jackson. I can't get Torrential pumped, or if he gets E-Switch energy. So yeah, so I took the prize. Now I'm at 4, so 1 Phantom Dive will get me on 2, and I can kind of just spread the damage across Jackson's board so that no matter what, I can take a 2 prize knockout on the following turn. So I think I'm just thinning my deck here a little bit. So yeah. So I got rid of a Dragapult here. So if I wanted, I could have gone Dragapult, evolve, an Ultra Ball for another Dragapult, evolve, and then I like completely play around Crispin, which I think is actually kind of reasonable to do, because I don't really need to draw anything off this Iono. I just, my board is way stronger than Jackson's, right? So, because he's only played 1 Crispin this game, so he had 2 left, so it's not a ridiculous card to draw. So he's just getting 1. He does not have Mew, so he's kind of just living off the top deck. You see an E-Switch there, so an Energy is actually a live card for him. And then I do my other recon. I think I have 1 more recon. I remember I don't do it because I have Arven on top of my deck, or in the deck still near the top, and that just gets me counter catcher for next turn if I need it. So I figured like there's no point in digging anymore. I think I like calculated that between draw for turn, the 2 Dracloaks, if I get Iono, I guarantee an Arven. So here I'm putting 1 on the Pikachu and the Teal Mask, because that way they get knocked out by a Phantom Dive no matter what. I put 1 on the Fan Rotom, 1 on the Noctowl. So that way, like if he tries to put a 1 prizer up, there's 2 targets for me to knock out. The last 2 damage counters don't really matter, so I just throw them on the Noctowl. So here he pretty much has to top deck out of it, and he does not. So I make the comeback. I think this game is a great example of how this matchup goes normally. Like the Tera Box deck is going to take the prize lead, and then you as the Dragapult deck have to kind of get a little creative, use that unfair stamp, and find a way to come back in the game. So that's the first game in the set. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I still got a couple more for you to watch. All right, we got game 2 here. Jackson's going to get to go first here since he lost the first one. I assume he's going to employ a similar strategy. I think he should probably employ a similar strategy within the first game with that Wellspring. Just if he can, he'll want to try and get his board a little bit more set up than he did last game. So he's going to start with the Fan Rotom this game in his hand, which is really good. He can save his Nest Balls or Ultra Balls if he has them for different Pokemon. And he's going to open the Teal Mask. And the reason he starts with that is the Fan Rotom is because he can do the Teal Dance and have a pivot. When I say pivot, I mean like a Pokemon to retreat with. So he's going to do the Fan Call here, grab a Hoot Hoot and a Noctowl, probably grab another Hoot Hoot. See his prizes there. He prized 1 Wellspring, the Tera Box deck plays 2, so shouldn't be too big of an issue for him. Yeah, you can already see the what's it called? The Hoot there. Okay, so here comes the Ditto, our little Pidgey proxy. So that's going to definitely be used to get the Wellspring. So he has another Nest Ball here, so this would probably get another Hoot Hoot or the Latios. Okay, so he gets the Latios just so he has free retreat for his Pokemon. This gives him a little bit more maneuverability. And then he has the Crystal and an attach. He doesn't even need Noctowl next turn. Wow. So if he just has an energy, he can definitely go for a Torrential Pump. So really, really strong opening hand from Jackson. So I don't know if the Latias was really necessary. Like maybe I would have gone for like a second Hoot Hoot instead, but it gives him definitely a lot of maneuverability. He doesn't have to evolve to Noctowl, so if he doesn't evolve to Noctowl, if I go unfair stamp with Pidgeot, it takes away my counter catcher option. So yeah, I do like that. It just leaves you a little vulnerable to just having the one Hoot Hoot on the board. So on my turn here, I'm just gonna go for an Arven. Probably just gonna go for an Itchy Pollen here, and then see if I can get that unfair stamp combo going on the next turn. So that's pretty much just how the game goes. I normally don't like having to use my rescue board turn 1. I actually normally just retreat with an energy if I can. Because what happens is then if I get Torrential Pump, the 3P with the rescue board gets knocked out. And then I have to commit like an energy to retreat on the next turn. And then my Dragapult has no energy, so then I need a Crispin if I want to attack on the following turn. So it just makes things a lot slower. So normally if I have the energy in my hand, I normally just attach and retreat that way. Or you could put the rescue board on a GP and then attach to a different one, and then that way if you get torrential pumped, you would get a pivot no matter what. But in this specific instance, yeah, just having to use the rescue board, and then I'm going to have to use an energy to retreat next turn if I want to do it again. So I go for triple GP here. The reason being is I don't need Dusknoir right away in this matchup. I'd rather just establish as many Dracloaks as possible so I can just get my draw engine online and kind of get going there. So yeah, here on Jackson's turn, he's going to go for the Teal Dance. I assume that means he has another energy in his hand. Oh, he actually doesn't, but he has Crispin in his hand, so I think this Teal Dance is fine. So, yeah. And then he gets another Crispin. Nice. So yeah, this is good for him that he gets to save his Noctowl. He doesn't have to like use it right away. So he should probably just get like a Psychic and then a Grass Teal Dance again. Since he got the attach down last turn, he doesn't even need to attach per turn. He can just hold it. And then yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do. So he knows that I'm going to probably try an Unfair Stamp, so he doesn't really need to like overcommit and get all this other stuff. Literally just getting that Torrential Pump, 2 prizes, putting the pressure on my board is enough. So that Buddy Pop when I draw for turn, really good draw. That's going to let me get my Badoo and like maybe a Duskull. I think I prized the Dreepy, so I can't get the third one. But yeah, so I'm just looking here to get that Unfair Stamp if I can. I think I might have prized Spez this game. I should have been paying closer attention when I looked at my prizes. But I think I did. So I bench the Artisan, or I get the Artisan down, get another Duskull, just to thin my deck. The Artisan does give Jackson another out to another Hoot Hoot, but I think in my position, I'm like, I really need to draw Unfair Stamp this turn, or Arven, so I'd rather just put in play, thin my deck a little bit. So, and even if he gets 2 Hoot Hoots, eventually I have like the Dusclops play or Dusknoir if I need to get rid of it. So get a Super Odd there. I assume the other card wasn't that useful. And then, yeah, like my hand is not looking the best here. I gotta just go for Jacques and then get the Dracloak and get the... Probably just get a Dusclops for later. If I had another GP, I'd probably get that. So I think my hand doesn't even have an energy to retreat. So off this second Recon Directive, I'm really looking for that Unfair Stamp. I'm looking for an energy just so I can retreat to the Badoo and then at least save a Dracloak for next turn. If I had Crispin, that would have also been like an okay supporter. Not great, but... Here comes that second Recon, and okay, I make my decision pretty quickly, but I think it's because both cards weren't that good. I think one was an Iono for next turn, so I have to pass, which basically means my board is going to get Torrential Pumped, and Jackson just shows me that he has all the Crispin in his hand. But yeah, I think for me, like, this game doesn't look like I can win, but honestly, like, if I can get the Unfair Stamp, or I don't even need an Unfair Stamp, I just Iono next turn. It's basically the same thing as stamping and get the Badoo. Like, I can still make a comeback, right? So I'm not going to scoop this one up yet. I'm going to let it play out and see what happens. So Jackson here, he should pretty much just go for Torrential Pump and, again, not put a Noctowl into play. That Latios is protecting the whole board, which is going to be really useful for him. So, all right, let's see. I'm going to get Torrential Pump, and yeah, definitely both Dracloaks. There's, like, maybe an argument for the Badoo. Not really, I guess. My argument for saying, like, knocking out Badoo would be, like, you can, if I want to attack with Dragapult, I have to play Crispin, which means you're not getting Iono'd, which means then, like, you can make a Clefairy easily. But then that's kind of weak to, like, if I get Rare Candy Dusknoir, knock out 2 things, or knock out 2 Hoot Hoots, or if I do draw that Unfair Stamp, then he could be in trouble. So I think knocking out both Dragapults, or Dragcloaks, just blocking me from using Dragapult in the following turn is a really strong play. So there's that Super Rod I took last turn, kind of anticipating something like this would kind of happen. So I'm just going to shuffle them back. I could use Artisan to get one back right away, but I actually want to draw one off the Iono, so then I have the Artisan for the second one, just in case. And then, yeah, like the Itchy Pollen is kind of necessary right now, but I know that this Badoo is probably going to go down, either from Saw Block, or just like the Teal Mask, if Jackson wants to use the Teal Mask. So this game, I'm unfortunately not going to be able to use the Dusknoir. I'm going to have to use one Dragapult and pretty much have it carry me. So here you kind of see why I didn't Artisan for the repeat right away. I drew one off the Iono, and now I can use my Stadium, my Artisan, to draw another one. And then my hand's like okay for next turn. I have Iono. I didn't draw an energy this turn, so if I have Rare Candy Dragapult, I can't really do it next turn. So yeah. So here Jackson has the decision if he should go for Sob or if he should just retreat and use Teal Mask. I don't know. I think I might have just retreated and used Teal Mask just to take the prize, because like if you Sob again on the following turn, it's not really accomplishing much for you, I don't think. So Alright, Iono here. I don't really want to Iono because I know Jackson doesn't have Noctowl or Crispin because he would have just played it if he had it. But I mean, I need to start getting some Draclopes and some energy going. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of like lose. So there's the Draclope. And then I have a fire. I'm going to play that Vessel first just to thin my deck a little bit more. Just give myself a little bit more dig. And then that Unfair Stamp, my deck was not able to draw it all game. If I would have drawn it, it would have been very different. But I mean, I'm still in it. So now I have the decision between the Counter Catcher or the Dragapult. I think the Counter Catcher makes more sense because I have an Ultra Ball. I'm going to want to do some tricky plays where I probably don't take any knockouts. If I can, Jackson's board locked, right? So I can block him from mentioning Clefairy. And then let's see what Jackson gets here. So when I don't see him do anything, I do a little celebratory fist bump that he whiffed. So, but there you can see the Ultra Ball in his hand. So right, so like if I ever go for Dragapult, I just unlock the Noctowls. So I like this Area 0 from Jackson as well. Gives him another bench space. So if I Iono him again, he has space for something like a Fez if I make a knockout. He has space for like a Mew EX, space for more Hoot Hoots, Clefairy. So definitely like that. So. Alright, off my recon, I get a fire and an Ultra Ball. So I mean, I already have a fire, so I'm just gonna keep the Ultra Ball. I definitely did not put that card as the very bottom one, but doesn't really matter. I'm gonna shuffle my deck after. And then here comes the Ultra Ball. Get rid of the candy, because I mean, I don't need that anymore. I think I have double Counter Catcher in energy. I probably could have just got rid of the fire. Just kept the second Ultra Ball. But my strategy for this game is going to be Counter Catcher, do 200 to the Ogerpon. Next turn, like Counter Catcher, do 200 to the Latios. So I don't want to activate Fez if I don't have to. And then try and take all 6 prizes in one attack. So I need 3 Phantom Dives to win, which is a lot, right? Because I don't get to use Dusknoir. If I could use Dusknoir, I could win this game in 2 attacks fairly easily by just knocking out the Wellspring, the Teal Mask, and the Latios. But here I just have to try to go for the strategy and pray that Jackson just doesn't have Crispin, doesn't have E-Switch Energy, doesn't have Noctowl, doesn't have Ultra Ball. So it's really hard for him not to have one of those outs. I would have really loved to have been able to Iono this turn. Then I actually think I would have a reasonable chance of winning, but unfortunately didn't have that. And then you can see his hand is just flush with Ultra Balls. So he's able to get that Noctowl. Lots of ways to win. He can boss the Dreepy or the Duskull. Or just like get the Crispin. So that game a little more uneventful, but I guess that kind of shows the power of the Tera Box deck when it gets going and puts pressure on Dragapult, how hard it is for the deck to kind of come back. It puts you on a clock or needing to hit that Unfair Stamp and make a comeback. So yeah, that was game 2, and I got one more game for you guys. All right, we got the third game here in the set. So I decided to go second. I'm still trying to decide if that's correct or not against Tera Box because they don't really play that many supporters. Like they play 2 Research and like an Iono. They played the Crispin, so you are a little scared about some Crispin stuff turn 1 getting knocked out. So maybe going first might be right. So I gotta figure that out. So I'm also wearing this like camera I got to film like POV content. So I'll flash some footage on the screen right now. Let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing videos like this. I was thinking I was gonna record myself doing like League Cups and challenges, just like commentating through those. Or just posting those. But yeah, let me know if you guys like that or if you guys prefer like the more tabletop style of video. So here Jackson's a really good open, gets the Fez open and the Fan Rotom. So Fez is really nice because if I Unfair Stamp, then later in the game I probably have to take a knockout eventually, right? So just having Fez on board kind of guarantees you some draw, especially if you can get it in tandem with the Mew, because then I can't really knock out one or the other. I can knock out one or the other, but then I have to kind of give up draw. Or I have to like leave Hoot Hoots on the board. So kind of just like makes it hard for me to like deny any form of consistency as the game goes on. So and it also gets the Latios, so Jackson's gonna have a lot of maneuverability this game. And we're gonna see that Fan Call get a couple of Hoot Hoots for him. The Nest Ball is gonna grab the Ditto, which is gonna grab the Wellspring. So it's always very scary as the Dragapult player just be spacing down a Wellspring on the first turn. Because I know that I'm going to get torrential pumped because Jackson just has a Noctowl chilling in his hand. So he also has the Sparkling Crystal in his hand, which I think he's going to debate attaching right now. I think you would attach it like always because the Dragapult decks, they normally play 3 to 4 Iono. So it's not that ludicrous for me to Iono on the first turn. There's no tool removal in my deck, so you might as well just put it down now. So if you draw a Noctowl on the following turn, you can use one of the searches on something like a, Stadium maybe, or if I didn't play Badoo, like an actual item, right? So I like putting it down here to play around Iono. So my turn here, I'm going to go for the Poffin. We'll do a quick prize check. Prize like Boss, prize an Artisan, some like Nest Balls. I think I prize an Arbiter too. So this is my only Pokemon search in my hand, so I actually think it doesn't really make much sense to go for the Badoo, because I know like Jackson already has like the Crispin play in his hand. So if I go for Badoo, what's going to happen is just my only GP is going to get knocked out. So I decided to forego it. Like there's not really any items I'm scared of Jackson playing. Like if he wants to play like more Nest Balls or Ultra Balls or something, I guess he can, but I don't know. Either way, like Badoo or not, I'm getting Torrential Pumped. So I just go for the double GP here, play a Jacques, so I get at least one Dracloak off on the next turn if I get Torrential Pumped. It would be pretty hard for Jackson to get a boss knocking both out. That would involve getting some like Teal Dances, some E-Switch involved. So I'm not too worried about that. So here comes the Noctowl, like we said. Probably just going to grab that Crispin maybe. He's going to go Vessel, Nest Ball, it looks like, so that kind of signifies that he has the Area 0 in his hand. Oh, no, he has to get it first, and then he has another Noctowl in his hand if he wants to use it. So here comes the Nest Ball, gets the Teal Mask, you know, just so we can start maybe like getting some energy in play. If he draws any grass off of Unfair Stamp, they kind of cycle themselves to draw a card. And then gonna get the water and the grass. The water's gonna be on the active, and then the grass could be used for Teal Mask draw, or we can use it on the Wellspring just to satisfy the next energy we need to do Torrential Pump. I personally would probably just attach to the Wellspring, I think, if that's the only energy, because then you can save the Noctowl. Because if I look at Jackson's hand, he doesn't have another energy, right? So he'd have to like commit to using Noctowl if he whiffs here, which I don't know. I don't really think is something you want to be doing. But he goes with the Teal Dance, draws the Mew, which is a fantastic draw. Kind of like I outlined earlier, having Mew and Fez Mew board really helps protect you against that Unfair Stamp. Gives you a little bit more dig. So now he has to commit the second Noctowl to get energy, because we don't have another one because we did the Teal Dance. So we're going to grab the Vessel, and then I think he's out of Nest Balls, so if he wants to get the other Hoot Hoot down, he has to Ultra Ball, which I think that would be the only cards in his hand, which is definitely not what we want to be doing. So for me, like Jackson's board is like, it's strong, but it's not that crazy because there's no Hoot Hoot on it. And even if the Hoot Hoot comes down, if I can get it off the board eventually, I can kind of disrupt Jackson's setup, right? So yeah, I think he's struggling to figure out what the next card should be. It should probably just be a supporter for next turn, just in case I don't disrupt him, because there's not really an immediate impact card that he can grab right now. So he's going to go for the, looks like the Boss, but goes for the Crispin. I like the Crispin a lot more. That way, if I don't disrupt him, he can just Torrential Pump again. So, yep, that makes sense. And then we're just going to Vessel, get rid of I think that's a Terrapagos. I can't tell. Don't really need that Pokemon in this matchup. He's pretty much just wants to use Wellspring and then eventually transition using Clefairy. So, yep, gets the Lightning and the Grass. Doesn't really matter which one he attaches because it's going straight back to the deck. Actually, it does matter because you want to keep the Grass, you can Teal Dance next turn. Now, just like that, I'm on the back foot. All 3 games, we got that turn 2 Torrential Pump, which is honestly a pretty normal thing for his deck to pull off. So, on my turn here, I do not have Arven or Iono. I have Rare Candy Dragapult, so I'm debating if I should just Rare Candy Dragapult and Jet Headbutt. Jackson doesn't have a what's it called, a Hoot Hoot on the bench, so like it wouldn't be like that insane for him to whiff a Clefairy attack. So I was thinking about it, but I think the problem is in a spot like this, right, where it's like if I just evolve and then attack and Jet Headbutt, like what am I accomplishing, right? Like next turn Jackson could probably just like attack me with Teal Mask or something, and then I would just get 2-shot. I would just lose the game slowly. Whereas on the Dracloak, if I hit Arven, I hit Unfair Stamp, I hit Iono, all of a sudden the game can kind of flip on its head. So when you're behind in Pokemon, you kind of want to take a little bit more risks. And that's kind of what I did there to go for it. So I'm happy with that play, even if it's going to lead to me probably losing. I did the counter catch on the Noctowl because Crispin doesn't just get him the attack with the Wellspring because he has to retreat. And I think here for a second we were discussing what to do. Jackson has game if he attacks with a Teal Mask. So he goes and gets the water and the grass. I think he forgot that we both forgot that the Teal Mask can go, can get the, what's it called? The Teal Dance ability with the grass. You don't have to attach it, right? The water can go on the Noctowl. And then he has another grass in his hand, which he can attach for a turn. So he can effectively get 3 energies down right now. So, yeah. we kind of miss it for a sec, and we find it eventually. So I kind of cut ahead to that here. So my lone Dracloak is going to go down, and then I am going to lose the match since this is our third game. So what happened or started as a promising match with that first game where I pulled off my strategy, ends because I could not withstand the pressure from the Tera Box deck. And this is one of the weaknesses of the Dragapult deck I have found, is it's a little inconsistent sometimes, and if you whiff that turn 2 combo with the Unfair Stamp and the Badoo, you can get run over a lot. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the match today. I think the games were very indicative of what the Tera Box and Dragapult matchup is going to be like in this format. Let me know down below what you thought and what matchups I should do next. And as always, please subscribe, like, comment, check me out on my other socials. Check out Jackson as well if you want to get more from us. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.